Welcome to Take It from the Iron Woman. My name is Susanne Müller, your host and the Iron Woman. This podcast is about empowering yourself and others to make real changes in the world. You will hear from everyday, smart, sophisticated, hip people like you and me. Not everybody has to be an Iron Woman to impress the world. Together, we will learn from the sports and business leaders how you can become a more successful person as an entrepreneur or a leader. It's one step at a time, one day at a time. Take your steps now. Take your big steps now. Join me on this journey to success. Take it from the Iron Woman. We only have a special guest. Today we go to Carlos. Carlos is a dear friend of mine. We met in Central Park. I think you and I, we live in Central Park, and that's what we do for a living. Introduce yourself. What can we learn from you? And welcome.
Indeed. Well, thank you for having me in your program. We met a long time ago. I don't even remember, probably in 18 something. We are longtime runners. I really enjoy being in Central Park and some other places. And what I'm doing right now, I ran my last marathon in last November, New York City, unofficially. Yet I ran about 27 miles. I don't know if I mentioned that to you. I overran due to my mistake with my watch. And then I was planning to run the Swiss marathon this April, but I wasn't able to train in it. So I'm hoping to do it next year. It will be my 11th.
Well, that's good. How come you ran 27 miles? Are you now joining the ultra marathon people?
I wish Well, no. I ran more because I ran unofficially. I made a mistake to set up the course of the run. At the end, when I look at my watch on my phone, it says almost 27. Wow. But I was fine. I always lucky. I play all sort of sports in my life. Some of them tough, rough, like rugby, basketball. Never have an injury. I'm very gifted. I can run without that much training, but yet you need to really do the basics, of which I couldn't do it for this coming Swiss marathon. That's why I'm postponing for next year.
If I think of you, the running is one thing, but it also has a social aspect. We always meet on a Saturday, and the coffee and the talk and the laughter. How did you connect with all the people that we met?
Well, this is a tradition. I'm from Argentina, so some of you may know. This tradition in Argentina, you always have a cafecito with your friends, your colleagues, and it more when you are young, you go and spend long times chatting with your friends, several different subjects. I translated that concept to United States. I began asking people to come and join the coffee shop, to meet at the coffee shop. And then I say, why don't we run? So we have an excuse also to do some exercise. And then they say, okay, that's a good idea. And then I become one of the bosses, if I may say, because I was sending every weekend the invite and putting people together. I build at least about 150 people from all over the world. In fact, where I have friends like you, brought a friend from Switzerland, from the Netherlands, from Germany. They got into my list because they made either coffee or running. And that's what I always do. Every Saturday, we go and run. And after we have a cup of coffee, we spend more time at the coffee shop than running. But hey, it's life. I met some of your friends. I joined you a few times. So it's really wonderful. In fact, now where I live, I have some friends who had never had that concept, the cafecito. Now they join me every day for a quick cup of coffee around 10 o'clock. And they love it. This is something I would suggest to anyone that wants to be active and do some social activities to start with that and then run after or before.
Whatever works, whatever comes first. I think it's a very nice concept. And I always felt like we have another friend. You were sitting in a group and maybe there was a person alone on a table. And I don't know, you went to that person and integrated that person. And next time, or little did we know, next time that person was running with us. I'm thinking of Jennifer, or I don't even know all the names.
One day we saw a man, an old man, kind of an old man, wandering around Central Park drinking water. And then we were running. We stopped to drink water. And he asked us, "Are you guys runners?" And I said, "No, we're ghosts here looking at the park." And then he laughed. And he says, we asked him, "Where are you from?" He said, "I'm from Spain." "Oh, that's nice. What are you doing here?" "I'm visiting my son-in-law. In fact, lives 2 blocks down the line." And he says, "Oh, how old is your son?" He says, 35, 32, whatever. He says, "Bring him next time. We're going to be here next Saturday. Tell him he can run." Jordi, you might know Jordi.
Mm-hmm.
He became a runner. He became a friend. Susanita was another one. He's a woman. Very funny story. We have a guy who was a judge, an Argentinian judge, and then he wanted to run with us and says, "There is a beautiful lady there. I'd rather have a cup of coffee with her and not running with you guys." So he stayed. And I told the girl, without knowing who she was, and says, "Don't leave because we are the nicest one. Hold on to this guy." And then she said, "I will stay." We came back, and then she was there, and she became one of the members of the group, and we're still friends, and we see her from time to time. It's a wonderful stories.
You can write a book on the how to network on when you're running, or maybe the book should be called Running and Networking, or Networking on the Run.
I would rather do it the other way around.
Okay.
Coffee is the best way to network for runners or something like that, which is the main focus is to gather together. So it forces you to go out and mingle and tell stories. Sometimes you had a bad week, so you tell your friends, you laugh. Sometimes we get mad at one another. It's a real, very intense moment. You make some jokes and you feel better at the end. It's wonderful. And then running is the secondary or the subset of the main event. So that's why I never ran the marathon to my best, because I was always leveling myself down to those who were not that good and make sure that we're able to run and finish the marathon. I could have been better. Obviously, some of the youngest guys say, "You're not that fast, go ahead and run, and then we meet you at the end." But I always make sure that I ran with a group so as to make sure that everybody felt that belonged to it. We belong together.
Fantastic. And tell us a story about the Zurich Marathon.
The newspaper. I met another Swiss lady who was going to run her first marathon in Switzerland. I 2 Swiss daughters. That's why I was going to Switzerland myself. We were introduced by a common friend, and then she was really tense and nervous about, "Oh my God, I have to run this marathon, Carlos, please." I had run already 3 marathons, so I was a kind of a guru. Then I says, "Don't worry, I have connections in Switzerland, no worries, so relax." We went, we pick up our beeps. Back then you needed to pick up your bag, your beeps and everything. And then we went to the starting line. Then she was kind of, again, "I don't know what to do. I'm not going to finish." "Yes, you're going to finish." And so we start running, and oddly enough, or sadly enough, 300 meters after we started the marathon, a guy fell and dropped dead. It was a British man. He has a problem. We found out later, but that was, my friend says, "A man already died. Carlos, why are you doing this to me?" We kept running, and we were about 500 meters to the finish line. And it says, "We have 5 hours to finish the race. Otherwise, no medal, no recognition, no nothing." The Swiss are very strict. We were 4 hours and 50 minutes. And so we had 10 minutes. My friend, my colleague, she ran rocket, and I ran with her. And when she crossed the line, I hugged her, and she started crying out of emotion. It was a very unique moment. I think everybody has his own way of expressing the beauty of feeling you have accomplished something. And I hugged her, and there were a lot of photographers taking pictures. So, okay, it's fine. We went home. Next day I got a phone call at 5 o'clock in the morning, and it was my friend. And she said, "Carlos, I really understand. You really do have connections in Switzerland." We were in the front page of the TEDx, which is kind of the New York Times here.
Yeah.
And the tagline was, "Tears of pain or tears of joy." I bought 15 copies, which I gave it to all my friends. I make a frame. I have it at home in Argentina. That was it. What is a fantastic race. I enjoy every single second. I wasn't tired at all. It was a beautiful sunny day. I still remember. It was so joyful, fantastic.
And I always ask the question, what would you give as an advice for somebody who wants to start to run? What is your wisdom?
My experience has been that most people say, I can't run. I can't run. I have my knee, I have this and that. And very young people sometimes. And then I say, okay, it's fine. My only thing is come and walk. Let's walk. And as you're walking, then you say, oh, let's start running a little. That's how most people start. I had a few of those who became runners. One was my brother-in-law, who was a smoker, a Coca-Cola addict. And he saw me in Argentina running. And so my nephew told him, look at my uncle. You can do the same. He asked me, I had no idea. I smoke. I drink Coca-Cola. Come and walk with me. I did a few times. Then I started running. He ran after like 4 or 5 marathons. He stopped smoking and the whole 9 years. He's fantastic. Then that's what I tell people. Relax. If you cannot run, walk, exercise, get a bicycle. Maybe if you get a bicycle, I run, you go on the bike. I have a few of those as well. And that's it. That's all I think is in your mind most of the time. Obviously, if you have a physical problem, that then is understandable. But most people I think they don't believe in themselves that they can do certain things. That's when you have to really try to change it. It's up to you sometimes. You are a runner yourself. It's 6 o'clock in the morning. It's cold. It's raining. And you have to train. And it's very easy to say, okay, I'm in put. I'm staying here in bed, warm. But if you get up and then you start running, then the whole body, if you get into the running mode, and then you're fine. I ran once minus 17C in Central Park. Sunday, it was on Sunday around 6:30 in the morning with my friend Michael, and it was dark. It was freezing cold, so we have all just our eyes. And then when we were almost finishing the loop in Central Park, we saw these bushes with a little blue flower. And we came to take a picture because, first of all, it looked like New York was with the only 2 people in New York were the 2 of us. And second, to see this beautiful blue flower was coming up because it was at the end of winter. It was a sign like seasons. Life sometimes is hard, but it's a beauty at the end. It sounds silly to me when I'm telling you now, but back then it really impacted my head, seeing this flower and seeing the beauty of life still goes on and you have to keep moving.
I think so. Well, let's finish on this high note. Let's keep moving. Let's keep moving.
Indeed. If you ever come to New York, just contact Suzanne and then I will be more than happy to send you an invitation.
Okay, we'll do it. Have a cup of coffee if it's cold or not, rain or shine. We'll do that.
Doesn't matter. It doesn't matter.
Okay, thank you so much. This is really cool.
Thank you.
Remember, coffee is as important as the running. Or the running is important, but the coffee is important too. Always nice to connect, being reminded of the good times we have spent together, the good times, the times when we're laughing and running. Take It from the Iron Woman. We have episodes every Monday, and download the book, Take It from the Iron Woman, Global Business Coaching with Sports Parallels. Take it easy, go for a run, enjoy it, and see you next time. Thank you and bye-bye.